What's going on, everyone? It's your favorite minority from the loud majority, touching base with the base. Um, Back with another reaction video. Um, this one is another reaction to a Patrick Bet David podcast where he recently had Congresswoman Victoria Sparts. She is of Ukrainian descent. She basically came here from Ukraine, and now she's a congresswoman in the United States of America. And she's basically sitting here going in, man. She's like really, really telling it how it is. Basically referring to, the people in her country, the government of her country, the Ukrainian government, and Zelensky, and the rich oligarchs taking advantage of America. She pretty much talks about how, she gives her position on how the Ukraine aid and basically how instead of us basically giving these people you know, basically a blank check, constantly giving these people billions after billions after billions of dollars, that we need to have a little bit more of a, strategic approach to this, and a little few more checks and balances about how, this money is being spent, um, who exactly is receiving this money, where this money is going. Because it looks like this money is going in the pockets of these rich oligarchs in Ukraine to sustain their luxurious lifestyles. Um, you see a lot of videos of these people. They're living it up, man. It almost doesn't seem like there's a war going on over there. I mean, call me crazy, but I thought that there would be at least some more footage about this war that we've been hearing about for the last few years. So it's kind of strange. But one thing is for sure, that the billions just keep rolling in for the Ukrainian government, no matter what. So before we go into it, though, I want y'all to do me a huge favor. I want you guys to pat that like button, pat that subscribe button. Make sure you guys are sharing the videos. Make sure you guys are commenting. Of course, if you disagree with me, that's fine. I go back and forth a little bit, but not too much. Eventually, I give up. I'll let you have the W, or I'll let you think you did. Anyway, I'll let you think you did. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video.
So, how much you know about this? Ukraine said it uncovered $40 million corruption scheme and weapons procurement, where some are even speculating that Zelensky is taking money off the money that's being given to his country. Do you think that level of corruption is being happening right now, where he's taking money from it, or no?
Well, listen, I think that's something for them to look at that. But what I was just saying, that's why I said, listen, I was very tough with them. That's why they probably hate me. It's probably, if not more than Putin, but they have a lot of anti-propaganda against me in Europe and in Ukraine. They tell the crazy stuff about me. Oh, listen, they put like a billboards on me, like, oh, this is like pro-Kremlin Putin asses or something like that. It's terrible, but it's really,
That's like very, very reminiscent of Communist Party shit. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a wanted poster in a way. It's very telling about what type of democracy the president of Ukraine is pushing for. But we all know he's taking his orders from people way, way, way above him. Okay. We all know Zelensky's a puppet. He's a former actor, literally. And I believe he's playing a role now. I mean, that's pretty common amongst most people who have been paying attention, and they realize that this man he's just playing a role. All right. He's playing a role. He's playing his part. He's dragging this war out as much as he can. That way he can just continue to keep getting paid. As long as there's a war, there's money. And you can keep asking for more and more money, and nobody's really watching where this money's going. We all know where the money's going, but I mean, then again, maybe there are people watching it. They just don't care. Okay. So at the end of the day, we all know that that money's not being used for what they're telling us is being used for. I mean, there's plenty of evidence out there to show that these rich oligarchs in Ukraine are definitely living these luxurious lifestyles, these big homes, nice cars, You know, they have all this property, all these valuable things, and you can bet your bottom dollar that's being paid for by U.S. taxpayers.
I think when I tried to push, because all I said is that I want accountability, and I said I want to have point-to-point logistics. I want any weapons will be delivered right to the front line with Americans. I don't trust any Ukrainians overseas. That, you know, there are some good people there, a lot of shady people, and that's what my conflict with them started. That I said, I want point-to-point logistics and Americans to oversee what's happening with weapons. And I'm not supporting giving cash to Ukrainian government. No, I do not trust them even a little bit. I understand.
Why not?
Well, listen, I mean, unfortunately.
Do you think he's capable of stealing money from us?
Listen, everyone is, you know, or they can steal their own money and then ask us to refill the budget.
What do you think is the chances that he's already?
That's another good observation. You know, spend all their money, then just come over here and ask us to foot the bill. I mean, Zelensky literally came into DC, went to Capitol Hill, and basically pointed the finger and waved his finger at the American people and said, you have to fund this war or your sons and daughters are going to pay the price. Basically threatening us, telling us if we don't fund his war, we'll fight his war. And our sons and daughters will be sent off to go fight and die for his war. Okay? When in reality, this entire conflict could be over in a day if he decided to. But he wants to drag this war out, therefore he can. I mean, he already suspended elections. So now he's in power until whenever this conflict ends. And who's going to end it? He isn't. So when is he going to give up power? Probably never.
He's stolen some money from us.
Listen, I mean, the considering how that country is, you know, I mean, listen, let's just be very honest who we're dealing with. Unfortunately, the former Soviet Republic, except maybe Baltics, whether it's Russia, Ukraine, or any other ones, are very corrupt countries. The whole Eastern Europe, unfortunately, struggling still from corruption and the level of corruption. When you have a war and opportunities, you know, for corruption, when you have infiltration by Russian too, you know, the Russians know if they infiltrate Ukraine, and that's been happening a lot, actually, when he had to fire a bunch of close people, you know, then corruption can lose any war. And I think that's a big challenge to do that. And I said, listen, they can deal with their own corruption. My responsibility for American weapons and money, what we're doing here. I am American congresswoman, and I want to make sure that they are not, you know, taking our money and weapons. And that's what, you know, I was very surprised when Biden said, and that's why I put pressure. They said a little bit better, where I said, okay, what do you mean, like, I don't know what's happening after the border crossed, you know, after we gave stuff at the Polish border and we don't know what's happening there. I said, that's BS. That is unacceptable.
What is the current way when we give money? What
sounds very familiar, doesn't it? I mean, doesn't sound too different from what's happening in our border. I mean, people are just coming in. Nobody knows who these people are. Nobody knows where these people are being sent off to. They don't know where they are once they get there. Okay, they don't know where they're going once they get there, or what they're gonna do, what they're capable of. I mean, a lot of us have seen what these people are capable of, but as you can see, these problems are happening all over the globe, and you got to ask yourself, who is behind all of this? Who's shaking the jar and causing all this conflict that is having all these people in these different regions run towards other people's borders? Why? And all simultaneously. At the same time, that's not a coincidence.
What happens to the money, and who does the money go to? Like right now, the $61 billion, right? That's going to go to Ukraine. Where is that going?
You don't know if they're going to go Ukraine, because if you think about it, that's what the problem I had. Like, I know, like, from even one of the packages before, you know, $1 billion went to Yemen, Houthis in Yemen that were taken from a terrorist list that shooting our ships.
And this is another problem. That's another problem. Our money getting sent off to Ukraine or these other countries. What are they doing with the money once they get it? Who are they sending the money to? Okay. Now, there was recently an incident in Russia where there was a mass shooting, okay, in Moscow at a concert hall. It was horrific. The video was horrible. It was horrific. If you saw the videos, I don't even have to explain. If you didn't, if you're squeamish, don't go look for the videos. If you're not, if you want to see exactly what this tragedy looked like, you can go see the videos. Okay. And the terrorists, they were captured by Russian forces. They were interrogated. You bet your ass. I don't even want to say the word tortured, but they were definitely they definitely had to suffer some sort of physical physical violence against them. That's all I'm going to say. And it just so happens that the Russian forces say that these men said that they were paid by Ukraine to do this. Okay, they were given money, cell phones, and sent to do this. Okay, they had ties to Ukraine on their phones. When they went through their phones, they found information that showed that they had ties to the Ukrainian army and the Ukrainian government. Are we sending the Ukrainian government money to fight a war? And with the money we're giving them, are they paying terrorists to go shoot up concert halls and kill innocent people? You decide.
They have associated causes. So Ukraine is becoming a slush fund where not all this money actually go directly. Some of the money go to rebuild some of our allies, in Europe, okay? That's all great, but why is that part of Ukrainian money? Some of them rebuild our stockpile. Some of them, some of the countries give garbage to Ukraine and then bought some new equipment, and Ukraine got half of not working. So I think this is just not right way to do it. That's why I had a very big objections. Like, we don't even know the way how this bill written, most of them, we don't even know what is even go directly to Ukraine. Only part of it, I believe it's like 16 or something billion. It's, it says Ukraine security assistance for Ukraine specifically, but even part of that could be used to replenish stockpiles to some countries that gave Ukraine, and we never can give an answer who gave what and where it is. So that's why I was surprised to see that a lot of these weapons, I didn't even see them there. So they were all, who knows where, what Biden is doing. The same blank check with his drawers, he can give to any international organizations. He can give to UN. I've never seen UN doing anything there.
What do you think is the connection with Zelensky and Biden? Some people speculate that maybe because of Burisma and what happened in the past and his son and Biden, Hunter, and all this stuff.
Yeah, we all know what happened there.
Do you think there's any link to all of a sudden his loyalty being so high in defending Ukraine? You think there's anything going there?
I think Biden I would actually have a different perspective. I actually was surprised how not helpful Biden was, and how Jake Sullivan was actually blocking most of the approvals of the aid. He was the one who's actually, so I would, and it's interesting because a lot of people don't realize that Hunter Biden, the oligarch that he was getting money from, is actually, work for the guy who's hiding under Putin in Russia right now. So yeah, he worked for Yanukovych, and he was from pro-Russian oligarchs, not really pro-Ukrainian oligarchs. And some of the people in Zelensky administration, like Tatarov, he's the one who was killing people and protesters on Maidan. So it's very interesting how he has a lot of people in his administration that actually used to be very close to Yanukovych, which surprises me. So I didn't see them as being like freedom-loving people at all.
We all know they're not. I mean, recently a lot of information has come out that shows that there are lots of very active Nazis in the Ukrainian government and in the army, and in a lot of these militias that the Ukrainian government supports. Okay. Which is very ironic because Zelensky is supposed to be Jewish, which is very strange. So it's like, how can you be in support of a lot of these men who clearly support, Nazism or, the Nazi regime? There's lots of photos and pictures. There's even footage of these militias waving Nazi flags, blue and yellow, with the blue and yellow Ukraine colors, but with a Nazi symbol in the middle. And they have their heads shaved. They look like skinheads. I mean, I would assume that's what they would, that's what they're going for. Okay, so anybody who thought that Ukraine or that that the people of Ukraine or that the government of Ukraine was the good guys in this situation, think again, bro. Think again. Okay, we're literally using Ukraine to money launder. That's all we're doing. They're just playing their part. That's it.
Oh, that makes me question at all. Where is the loyalty and what Biden is, and what is really, because he was not really trying to, he was more appeasing Russia than I've ever seen. Trump gets a lot of slack. But Trump was probably way tougher in Russia, way tougher in Russia than Biden. Biden is just, let's rush.
Look at that. Look at that. Okay. We all know that the Russian spy shit was all bullshit. We all know Hillary Clinton paid for the dossier that one of her campaign workers ended up going to prison for it. She obviously wasn't charged with anything because Hillary Clinton's part of the establishment. They don't get charged with crimes. When you're a part of the establishment, you get away with crimes. Okay. When you're not, they make things that you do that aren't crimes into crimes. And then they try to throw you in prison for 400 years and they indict you 91 times or however many times, ridiculous amount of times it is. You know what I'm getting at here. But yeah.
Russia and Iran and China eat our lunch.
Mainstream media disagrees with you.
Oh, no, he lets them eat our lunch.
Well, mainstream media would say you're delusional for saying what you just said right now. They would say, are you kidding me? There's no way Trump was all about Putin and Biden is the one that's helping out Ukraine. The average person will listen to what you just said and they said, what is she talking about?
No, I'm talking the facts, not grandiose statement. Biden does grandiose statements. But if you listen to recent Putin's interview and they ask him who would he prefer, he
said Biden.
He said Biden. I would be him. He was able to do whatever in the hell he wanted under Biden and Trump.
Let me pull that up, Rob.
It's crazy because I really get people that still attack me like, oh, no, Trump was weak on Russia. I'm like, bro, like he quite literally waited till Trump was out of office to go into Ukraine. He said, oh, but they were moving it on their set. Yeah, that's fine. But did they go into Ukraine? Did they go in? No, they didn't. They didn't go in while Trump was president. And according to you guys, the left, whatever happens under a president's presidency is his fault. Not the last guys, right? Trump couldn't blame Obama for anything. So you can't blame him for what's happening now under Biden. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Putin knew as soon as Biden came in, he had a perfect opportunity to go in Ukraine and that Biden was going to be weak. Biden's weak. He doesn't have a good strategy on any of this.
Obama, he did that, I would be too, because he knows that the guy is weak, he's political and corrupt, and a lot of people around him are very shady. Like Jake Sullivan, I do not even know what in the hell is going on. And this is the same guy, he worked for Hillary Clinton and made a lot of very strange deals for her too.
No.
Jake Sullivan. Okay, so
she knows her stuff, man.
Between the two, I don't know if you care about this or not.
Victoria Sparts.
When you hear people saying
that's her name.
Putin is worth $200 billion, what do you think about that?
Oh, I'm probably one of the richest people in the world.
What do you think about Zelensky? You think Zelensky's also a pretty rich guy?
I think by now probably
He's a billionaire by now, you think?
I wouldn't be surprised. I really don't. But considering, how that country is, he was put in there by oligarch, but now he acts like he's an oligarch or maybe people around him. So it's hard for me to say.
What is the business model? What is a guy like Zelensky? You go into business, okay. It's a business model on how to make money. It's not hard to find out how to make money, right? What is the business model for Zelensky to become a billionaire?
Well, listen, it's everything like that in this country is like that. And listen, and I don't want to I'll be speculating here because I didn't go and trace the accounts, which, we probably should see at least what's happening with our money. I'm pretty sure they're stealing money of their own people, but at least let them.
I can only imagine how much money they're stealing from their own people. I gotta look that up. I'm actually gonna look that up as soon as I leave here. I want to see how much people if they do pay taxes. I don't even know. I gotta look it up. I'm not gonna assume they do. I would assume they do, but I want to see what that's like and how they tax their people, because I'm pretty sure they're taxing the people out the ass. Okay. Zelensky's a dictator. He shut down churches and he suspended elections. So I don't put it past him to rob his own people blind. It wouldn't be much different than it is here.
Prove is our money. That's what I told them. And I used probably much harder word, than I said to them. I use a bad word.
What did you say?
I said, don't F with our money and weapons. But these are bandits. They only understand words like that. They just don't understand that.
So you think Zelensky is a bandit?
Well, listen, these people come, people come from all of this kind of groups,
talk to gangsters.
All of this, Putin, Zelensky, all of these people. But you have the challenge what we have this, young people that very patriotic. They keep taking, governments. They did one another, try to find freedoms in Ukraine, and they keep elected one government after another that is corrupt. That's why it's hard to get out of that circle. So I separate Ukrainian fighters and soldiers, truly patriotic young people, from their government that actually not helping them. Sometimes see competition in the military because they worry about them. That's why I say, like, Second Amendment, right? It's against tyranny because politicians in Ukraine at least nervous now because the military has a lot of weapons, and that's when people own weapons. That's actually, something that against tyranny and keeps us strong as a republic, and it's very important, right?
That's
People
true,
don't
too.
understand that
That's true too. Think about all the stuff we sent them. Like, imagine if their people ever wanted to uprise. You could forget that. You could forget that one. All the weapons and all the money we sent them to arm themselves, the Ukrainian government, there'd be no chance for their people if their people ever woke up and realized what was going on in their country and that their leadership was corrupt. I mean, it's not like they don't. It's not like there aren't people in that country that don't know. There are. If you look deep enough, you'll find plenty of information that comes out of Ukraine that shows that there are a lot of people who would much rather Putin reclaim Ukraine. But these people don't stand a chance. I mean, we've sent these people billions of, not these people, we sent the government billions of dollars. Okay. And we've sent them so much weapons that
government make nervous when people do have ability to actually have guns and they don't have to rely on them. But I think, this is how this country is, that, everyone is just taking businesses.
Who do you trust more? Do you trust Putin more or Zelensky more?
Well, listen, this is a different, I wouldn't trust either one, right? But I'll tell you something what is really, there is no doubt, that unfortunately what's Russia turned under Putin, it's became very brutal dictatorial country, and Putin is going to kill in millions. It's sad for me to say.
Putin's going to kill in millions.
Well, he's killing, he's going to,
his own people.
Well, his own people in Ukraine. This is unfortunate. Like people with Wagner Group in Africa, what they doing there, helping China. it's terrible, right? So it's sad to me to see what's happening there. But I also think, he has ego, ambition, and he has, is really, it's terrible what he's doing. It's an evil power he became. But I also very get upset because, it's very different. Russians are brainwashed with all of this. And, he's pretty much done it to his people. But it was very sad for me to see when Zelensky, has, this young people that very, brave and very strong and freedom loving. And he is selling out the country to some of the oligarchs and people around him and making money on this bloodshed. So this is really betrayal of the country. So I have no high regards for either one. I don't have a very high regards for our president here. I'll be honest with you. Our president is selling out our country.
Welcome
He's
to the
betraying
club.
the American people. Unfortunately, we have a lot of bad leaders, in a different way. But Biden and Zelensky let Putin do what he's doing right now with their corruption and weaknesses. And I think that is the biggest problem we have, and we didn't deter very evil power.
You think it'd be different if Trump becomes president in 2025?
Listen, I think Trump is very tough and he's very serious. At least, sometimes, he can be very unexpected in foreign policy. And I think it's a deterrence. We need to have someone with strength because unfortunately, people like Putin are not going to be listening to grandiose statements that Biden is doing.
Like
they only understand the strengths. And I think you'll have to have a president like that.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you...
Well, that's Congresswoman Victoria Sparts. Okay. She's, I can't really disagree with anything she just said. Obviously, you heard me react to everything she said, so it'd be pretty hard for me to disagree now. But at the end of the day, everything she said is true. Okay. There is a very, very clear problem when we're sending these people billions of dollars and people here are struggling. I can't wrap my head around it anymore. I just honestly, I can't wrap my head around it anymore. How are we sending other countries billions of dollars when there are people right here struggling and you look them right in the face and tell them you cannot help them? Okay? If you can write several checks worth billions of dollars, and I'm talking, not forget several, I'm talking dozens at this point. I've lost count of how many packages. I mean, in total, I mean, I would have to look up how many billion, but I would assume far over 100 billion. I would assume it's way more than that by now. But you look your own people in the face and tell them you can't do anything for them and you can't help. Okay, how does that work? I am very confused. I'm confused, and you should be too. But you got people that's willing to keep voting for this. I mean, you just saw, no spine Mike Johnson of the Republican Party basically bend over and give the Democrats exactly what they wanted. Another aid package for Ukraine, Israel, several billions of dollars. Come on, man. And then you have the Democrat side of the House waving the Ukraine flag in in the chambers. Like, are you kidding? This is beyond treacherous. This is beyond treacherous at this point. Treacherous, sorry. But I don't know. People got to wake up and people got to start fighting back because at the end of the day, they're gonna gut us dry and they're gonna leave us high and mighty with no resources, and then we're gonna be screwed in the end when the time comes that we need all these resources, all this money, all these weapons that we're sending. I mean, we have all these conflicts brewing across the world, and we're just giving away money and weapons. Does that make sense? I mean, would you give away all your weapons and all your resources in the middle of a you know what I mean? In the middle of a war, would you do that? In the middle of a war zone? No, you wouldn't do that. You'd hold on to it. Meanwhile, our leaders quite literally just giving all our stuff away. While we have all these people looking at us, very hostile towards us at this moment. It just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And it almost seems like it's being done on purpose. And at this point, I don't think anybody can argue with me when I say it is being done on purpose. So that's that. It's your favorite minority from the loud majority, touching base with the base. Make sure you guys do me a favor. You pat that like button, pat that subscribe button, you comment, and make sure you share the videos. It's me, Louis, Angel, Lopez. You can call me Louis. You can call me Angel. You can call me whatever you like. It's up to you. You guys take care.